right, so gonna be doing some day 2 prep. I'm gonna do this one quick. I'm gonna do. I already did a whole bunch of mocks ahead of this, so I'll just use this to kind of see where we're at. Go over what happened the first round. So, Patriots picked up. Obviously, if you watched my video earlier today, I did it last night. It took a while for it to upload. Because I always do my stuff in 4K. I hate grainy stuff, so I don't want you guys to see grainy, like, low-grade videos that people do just to have a quick reaction. But got Christian Gonzalez, 17. I'm going to say this real quick. People can say, the idea of Bill playing too much chess. Well, chess, versus checkers, and that pisses people off, gets them perturbed because, he's gambling with... Last night, that's a big chess move, and yeah, he was throwing out the queen to make some big moves out there, because going back to getting Pitt to come up and then go back, which is almost like a mutual thing right here. They got a 4th round out of it, but by them still being able to get what they want and to ensure the Jets don't get what they need, the Jets had to pick Will McDonald, okay? Will McDonald's a good athlete and everything, but he's not 15, and the Jets really don't need him. Yeah, they could use him. He's got some linebacker-esque, and he will be an explosive player you have to worry about. He's not. It's not like a incredible reach. It's just that the Jets really needed Broderick Jones, and they didn't pull the trigger on Anton Harrison. So now they are going to be forced to go after Dwan Jones in the probably early in the first, otherwise, or early in the second. Otherwise, they might be SOL big time. Otherwise, they're going to be making big reaches in the 3rd round, along with a whole bunch of other people that are looking to finally pick up a tackle. So for them, they're in a pretty tight space right now. They're basically out of the game. They're gonna have to spend some extra draft capital to ensure they get Dwan, and I think the Patriots are in on him too. So that's to be said. Other than that, a couple other big guys. Jahmyr Gibbs being moved up, I have no problem with that. You can get in the argument that the running back's really not that valuable anymore. They moved the ball, and as last time I looked, moving the ball down the field and getting across the finish line and putting points on the board, it's not more valuable to do it either way. It's equal value either by someone running with the ball or the ball being thrown in the air. Yards are yards, right? And what is more is that running the ball when you're up ahead and you're trying to eat up clock, that's an awesome option. Not to mention both Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan can both catch the ball. So, to me, they're more valuable than all the other, minus Jackson Smith and Jigba. I see Gibbs and Bijan being worth more than the other wide receivers that were taken last night. Seriously, you guys. I might like how Zay Flower plays, but in terms of value, those guys are a little more valuable in my opinion. This is the I don't know what happened here pick with Felix Adunke Azuma. I have him way down in my I think I have him like in the 3rd or 4th round. Now I know that some people had him pretty high in like the 2nd, but I don't see it with him. He's got some decent, flash on the tape, but it didn't seem to be as consistent as I would thought they were looking for. But Kansas City, I guess, kind of has, they have a solid team, so maybe they can see that they can do something with them. So Patriots are at 46. I did a whole bunch of mocks where, we're trading up. I did a whole bunch of ones where we didn't trade, just to kind of see how many. I think I did about like a dozen of them, just to see how things shake out and come up with multiple scenarios. I'll go with that in just a moment. But first, we are going to go over my big board. All right, so we're going to be doing our day 2. This is the big board here. Updates after the first round. I added a few more columns so we can update it as we move through the draft. So you can see all my blue chips were taken out. Decent amount of my lower tier first rounders, and then a decent amount of the guys I had in the 2nd round. A lot, actually. So, and these are for, one can argue, this is your mid-30s here. And most of these guys are graded in terms of the lens of the Patriots. So that gives us a lot of targets in this next round. There's still some first rounders that should be taken. Joey Porter Jr. should probably be really quick. Osiris Torrance will be interesting where he finally goes. Michael Mayer, and then Will Levis. So just so put this out here, Will Levis is still in play. So the whole Mac Jones, Will Levis thing still happening, and we got some extra draft capital, so it's totally possible Bill might make a move there. And I tried doing that in one of my mocks, and it did work out, just so you know. Drew Sanders, DeJuan Jones. I would like Drew Sanders if we can get him at 46, or if the Patriots feel like they really need to get him, they need to bump him up. He's 6'5", 232, and he can move. He's basically the best linebacker in the whole draft. So he's still sitting there. So I have him higher than Jack Campbell, even though I love Jack Campbell. But I have Drew Sanders as being the best. He's a guy, just monster. DeJuan Jones. He's going to be probably the most sought after. He'll be gone in the first 3 to 5. I mean, maybe if something really weird happens, he trickles down to 46. But if you want him, you're going to probably have to use some of those draft picks to go get him today. Cam Smith should be pretty quick. Same thing with Keely Ringo. They should be gone by when the Patriots. Now, if Keely Ringo is still there, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did pick him up for the sake of developing him as a free safety. I'm serious. Totally. I'm 100% serious on that. Josh Downs, he's probably my top target and I tried getting him just by letting him go. He sometimes makes it to 46, so that's a possibility. He is probably the best wide receiver left on the board right now, so I think if the Patriots wanted to get him, they're not going to chance him getting the 46. They might have to trade up, to like the late 30s. Adetama Adebawore, I like him as a possibility. Same thing with Trenton Simpson. Two guys that could be on the Patriots' radar. Both of them I would wait to 46, though. The other big guy I want to point out would be Darnell Washington. Now, I think you're going to have to trade up again into like the mid, probably like 36, 37, 38 to probably try to get him. He's interesting because you can get him and you're addressing both the offensive line and playmaking, pass catching issue, and he's an inline tight end, which is what we don't really have. So it's actually a position that we, even though there's a TE next to several other guys on our depth chart, we don't have another one. So this is a actual position and usage, maybe not in terms of like the title, but how we use him, we don't have one. So he's probably a big depth and also need. I would like to see them go after him. Again, that's probably one of the ones they're going to have to move up on. I think there's probably a couple teams that are really looking to get a bigger tight end that can help block. One of them might be the Jets. So let's see. Brian Branch, I'm not sure where he'll go. Joe Tippmann might be in play, but I don't think we're going to use our second round as a set for a center right now. Anybody else in here? Byron Young, I'm looking more towards maybe the third round and late third round. Luke Musgrave, yeah, he's still in play. Some people have him as a first rounder. And Keon White is another guy, very much like Adetama Adebawore. Good big, he's an edge guy, but he's really like a tackle. So take a look at him. Musgrave, I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't hate taking him at 46, but I doubt he'll be there. Any other guys to really talk about? Zach Harrison, I have as a great edge potential. Jartavius Martin might be a third round pick for us. He's a cornerback and free safety. Tucker Kraft and Sam Laporta. I'm not big on Sam Laporta, obviously based upon my grading, but having him in there might give us someone might target him. That might allow somebody like a Tucker Kraft or Darnell Washington to be pushed back a little bit. My third round big target, if they can possibly get him, would be Jonathan Mingo. If they don't take Josh Downs, that would be my next. Would love to have a chance of getting him. I doubt it though. I think he goes early third. Anybody else to target? Tackles. So in general, Blake Freeland, Bergeron, Cody Mock, who's offensive. Some people have him as tackle. He's a guard, but he'll probably be gone. So this brings us to the big issue, which is Jalen Duncan will probably be gone. Wanya Morris will probably go soon. Warren McClendon, I think we can maybe wait for him. Yeah, Wanya Morris, I have him further back. But some of these guys we gotta look out for, because I think by the third round you're gonna have to draft if you don't have a tackle, you need a actual tackle, not just a generic offensive lineman in some way, which I think we're kind of 50-50. I mean, we probably should go for a tackle, but I wouldn't hate a guard as well, or center. Maybe that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Maybe just in some way they're just bolstering up the line, because next year the offensive line's going to need another injection, and I'm pretty sure they don't want to throw out rookies out there. I think they realized that last year. Joe Tippmann would be good too. Anyway, so this is the state of the big board. It'll be interesting what this looks like by the end of the day. Because I think on the amount of early day 3 picks we have, if we don't use them, it might get really interesting. You might see some guys who really fell out of that third round just because, there's going to be a big run on tackles. You're going to have guys who are really like 5th rounders going in like the 3rd, I think, for our tackles today. And I think you're going to see some of these good edge guys make it into the 4th round. Who else we might see? You might see we might have a shot at Schoonmaker and Kuntz in the 4th round. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I mean, they might take a couple of those 4ths and try to get into a late 3rd. I tried doing that in my mocks, so it'll be interesting what happens. All right, so let's take a look at those mocks now. All right, here's the first mock I did. So I'm only doing 3 rounds. I don't want to get too. I just had to do them rapid fire, and the thought, experiment here is 2nd and 3rd rounds, so day 3 picks. But we have straight up getting Adetama Adebawari and Tucker Kraft. No trades involved. They gave me a B on that one. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. We do need an edge, and then Tucker Kraft gives us that potential of he's a little bit more of a full service where he can block and he can play in line. He really looks dangerous out of that H-back and sniffer position. He even has some potential. He does have some production in terms of running the ball. So kind of adds to that potential fullback situation as well. Really big hands. Great physical talent. All right, mock 2. This is going to be, linebacker. We got Drew Sanders. Again, I just talked about it. Drew Sanders, big dude. Arguably the best linebacker in the whole draft. Hard hitter. Really good pedigree. Transfer from Alabama to Arkansas his final year. I'm surprised he didn't go last night, but that's fine. If the Patriots want to go up and grab him, that would be a really smart move in my opinion. Great edge player, plus also can actually play a true linebacker position. And then Blake Freeland. Now they're going to give me a bad grade on that one. That's a little bit of a reach, but that's the idea that I think Steen was off the board when I took Blake Freeland. So, and then after that, when I was looking through, right after that was Jalen Duncan, and then Wanya Morris was still picked in the third round. So, at this point, if we were going to pick a tackle, it'd have to be at round 3. If we don't get DeJuan Jones. All right, mock number 3. All right, so Josh Downs and Tucker Kraft. No trades on this one either. Josh fell. And then I pick up Tucker Kraft for some blocking ability. This one's probably the least likely. It's a good one. I wouldn't hate it, but it would really stress me out about offensive tackle. I think if this was the way they would have to go, they would have to also turn around and try to pick up, move up from like the mid 100s to some late day 2, like right near 100, to try to pick up one of the tackles that are starting to go, maybe like a Jalen Duncan or again like a Blake Freeland. All right, so DeJuan Jones and Tucker Kraft. Man, Tucker Kraft shows up a lot. This one This is one I really like. Picking up DeJuan early, had to go up to 38 to get him. Traded traded 46 and 135 to get 38. I think that's okay. Most of the times I was poking around with the trades, it's pretty rich. It's not easy to take your third and then take like a late 4th, but it worked this time. And then Tucker Kraft. At that point, all the good wide receivers are gone. Even Tank Dell was gone at that point, so Tucker Kraft was still on the board. Easy pick for me there. All right, so this one I tried to get a little more out of it. They didn't grade me great on it, but it did show what happens if we want to get a good tight end. We want to make sure that we get like Luke Schoonmaker. So we have Josh Downs, Blake Freeland, and Luke Schoonmaker. I basically just testing the hypothesis. It worked out. It was expensive though. I mean, 107 and 120. I think you could probably get Luke Schoonmaker at 107. So it was a little bit. I mean, this is not the best. I was also just trying to see what we can get at edge at that position. And interesting enough, edge really starts to go late 3rd round as well. So between tackle and edge, if we want to get any decent ones, I think we're gonna have to make it one of those two is gonna have to be the 3rd round. If not, we're gonna have to produce another 3rd round pick and I don't know, bet on it. I mean, hopefully get a good. Probably have to get it right next to ours, right behind ours, maybe. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting there. So 6, 7. Here's DeJuan Jones and Tank Dell. This is interesting because I got what I wanted, DeJuan Jones, but when I got to our pick at 76, I was not happy with the board, and I thought maybe I could trade back a little bit more and still get Tank Dell, and that worked out. Now I think we can get Tank Dell on day 3. Like, it would be really early, obviously. I think it'd be our first pick if he was still on the board. But if you can get him like 87, and then also, I got a 4th rounder. I got 119, and then a 5th rounder next year. So good trades, kind of offset. You had to use some more I had to use a 4th rounder. Yeah, so I used our 135 and then a 6th rounder, and I got a better 4th rounder on the trade back for Tank Dell, and then picked up a 5th rounder next year. I think this is probably one of my favorites. I would be very happy there, and what's funny is that would round out the needs list. You get your tackle, your wide receiver, and then you also have Christian Gonzalez. So. All right, so here's another one. So we got this is me going actually after Darnell. really specifically targeting him. So got him at 36 after trading up to LA at 46, and I had to give up. Had to give them 46 and 107 for it. I then took Blake Friedland at 76, which is a reach, but then I traded a third and a sixth. No, sorry, I traded a fourth and 2 fourths and 117 and 135 to move up to 101 to get Marvin Mims, but then also got a 6th rounder in return. That's also, they gave me a bad grade on it, but because the trades were a little rich. But I would be really happy with that one as well. And then the really controversial one. Here we go. So, trading up, getting Will Levis, and then also trading to get Jonathan Mingo. So what did I have to use to get Will Levis? Use the 46 and 120 to move up to 37. Got Will Levis. And then for wide receiver, Jonathan Mingo has been going earlier. He's like, again, 50 to like early 60s, mid 50s to early 60s. He's been going. So I did moved R76 and 107 to get 64, and I picked Jonathan Mingo, and not my favorite one. I'm not even really that big on us taking Will Levis even in the second round. Yeah, I guess we would take him in the second round. Gosh, it would make an entertaining preseason, that's for sure. I don't know if it'd be good for team chemistry. But you never know. You never know. All right, and then this is the final one, I believe. At least this is the last one I'll do. Josh Downs, getting him at 46. And then, let's see, trading back to 76, and we got 99 and 101 and a 4th rounder in 2024. So interesting. Good. I think the trade was good, and I picked Luke Schoonmaker to make sure we got what we wanted, and then also picked up the edge with KJ Henry. I don't say I hate any, because I only picked people I actually liked. I didn't just concede. So now I think about it, I'm not really sure which one I'd like the most. It's probably one of the DeJuan Jones ones, or it might be one of the ones where it just kind of worked out. Where they just fell to me, like Drew Sanders and Blake Freeland. I would be very happy with that. One of the ones I trade for, like DeJuan Jones and Tucker Kraft, I would really like that one. But I guess the take home here is there's a lot to be done tonight. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there to make some trades with all the draft capital they have. I don't know what they want. And you know what? I think this is another situation where they can be combative. They can take what they want and try to do their best to hurt other people that are in our division. It'd be very helpful. I mean, the Dolphins haven't even picked yet, so it'd be nice to see what we can do against them. You know, maybe Dwan and Tank Dell. I wouldn't hate it. That might be my favorite one. You take Dwan, if you move up to take Dwan, and then move back in the 3rd to take Tank Dell, and kind of replace Maybe find the replace what you had to burn to move up. Because 76, I think, is the hard one. I think 76 is, if there's somebody there, great. But if there's people that are already gone, and you're like, you know, we can get this guy, you know, at 87 or 90 or something like that. You trade back, and you're able to pick up that 87 for the or 90 for the 76, and you could still pick up like a late round 4. I'm all for it. Really, 100%. That might be the best thing, which is trade up on 2, trade back on 3. Unless there's somebody who's really there at 76, or they're really feeling pressed to get the tackle. So it'd probably have to be Dewan in that case, or maybe Darnell. Yeah, and then if you get Josh Downs, I think you're going to kind of be forced to take the. Well, you know what? No, you might be able to trade back a little bit in the 3rd to maybe close to 80-something and still take like a... So if you do Josh Downs and then move up to get him or Darnell, you could still probably pick up one of the more project tackles in like the late 80s. Or you can be also targeting one of the edge players there too. Lots to go on. Well, anyway, I'm going to end it there. I hope this was at least useful for you guys. It's a good thought experiment. It'll be entertaining. Get you guys thinking about what's going to happen tonight. I'll try my best to get out a reaction video a little bit quicker tonight. But if I don't, I'll definitely have one up tomorrow morning. And then get ready for day 3, which is going to be, at this point, even more entertaining just because of the amount of picks we have. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Go Pats.